good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? So we still got rain here in Chicago. What is this? January 9th or 10th, whatever today is. I got an umbrella. So we were expecting a big snowstorm, and maybe it's going to hit later today. We'll see. From 40 stories up, it looks like snow, even though it's like 36, 37 degrees. And instead of like walking out in the rain, I'm thinking about heading down into the lower levels, streets below the streets here in Michigan Avenue. We'll walk across the river. We'll get some views of the river and kind of explore down below here. You know, I seriously thought about going into the American Writers Museum, but it's closed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Tara, thanks for tuning in. Amber, how you doing? Yeah, the lunch bunch. Good, thanks for tuning in. Yeah. No, I look forward to these. Hey, how's it going? How you doing? I look forward to these. Look, someone's riding a bike down there. See, here's the lower levels of Michigan. And let's see what these guys are doing. You know, we can go any number of directions. We can go this way. We can go down below there. I know there's a homeless encampment down there, so maybe I think I'm going to start heading this way because there's this interesting place in here where you can look down and see multiple levels. 44 in Phoenix. Yeah, that's pretty cold for Phoenix. Amber, Sandra, the way I roll. Diane, thanks for tuning in. I got my gloves on today, so it's this bitter cold rain. You can imagine how cold the rain would feel in 44. Well, imagine it being 34 degrees in rain. I'd much rather this be snow than rain. But see, here we are at the Illinois Center. They used to call this the Illinois Center. I guess that's what they call these two buildings here. They call this the Millennium Center, where the Sweetwater. See, there's the Carbide and Carbon building. You see where we're at here by Michigan Avenue. I got the umbrella here. It's a dry cold, yeah. Tara, you guys got the snow on the northeast there. Now they're talking about flooding. I know this major winter storm affecting more than half of the nation, from the south to the north and the east, all the way to the central portions. And yeah, how's it going? Hello. Thanks for tuning in. But if you just joined, we're in Chicago. They got these interesting, well, to me, I don't know if other people, civil engineers might find it interesting, the multiple level streets here. Sometimes we go to the far low levels. I've learned the hard way that I lose my connection. There's actually a level, you see how there's a grate here? There's a level below us which connects to the Millennium Station. I've walked down there many times and, you know, film the entrance to Millennium Station and all that. We'll kind of stay a little in the middle level. There's three levels of, you can see it clearly there. You see how there's a lower level, a middle level, and an upper level. That's Stetson, I think. There's the Prudential building. This is a hole, and that's the actual ground when this used to be a rail yard. And there's the Prudential and the Aon building. Look how the Aon building goes up into the clouds there. And look how you can see we're half of a level above us. Amber, James, how's it going? James, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, next week's gonna be really cold. I saw the forecast. Yeah, once we get to Sunday, Monday next week, I think the high for the day is like 0, and it'll be one of those days where it stays like -2, -4 the whole day. But look, see how it's trying to change the snow. You see how it's this is like the coldest rain you can get, where it's right at 33, 34 degrees. There's actually little bits of ice within the rain. And now you see why I'm walking in these lower level streets, because I can actually get some cover underneath here. You see there's these waterfalls. There's these waterfalls where there's little cracks in the pipes and the drainage from above. And there you can see the Wacker Drive that way. See how you can ramp up to Upper Columbus. And it's a good thing I brought the umbrella, because I got to go under the, you hear that? Yeah, I got to go under the waterfall here. It's like we're in a cave. Yeah, it's a design, and people always ask, they said, what happens if there's an earthquake? Well, think about all the bridges you cross on an interstate, or, parking garage structures. Essentially, this is just like a giant parking garage for streets. You got multiple levels, and it's like a causeway or a bridge, structural engineers. And yes, fortunately we're not in a seismic zone. The New Madrid fault could have another amazingly large earthquake like it did in 1810 or whenever that happened the last time, and reverse the flow of the Mississippi River and impact this whole area. You see how this white area with the windows, that's a parking garage. Those are 3 levels of parking underneath the back of the Millennium Center there. And right there, I remember when I first moved here, there was a street that came out of here and you could enter the parking garage right there, and we used to enter that parking garage. But now you can't enter it that way anymore. I don't know, because I think they sold this land, and this was supposed to be developed as a hotel, but it never came to fruition because the last Great Recession ended that building plan. But Jonathan, thanks for tuning in. Jessica, thanks for tuning in. I'm missing comments here. Wisconsin's getting drilled with wet snow. See, Wisconsin, you're getting the wet, heavy snow, yeah. And I know. Why has this never developed? And you see how it's kind of hemmed in on all sides by other buildings. We're close to Millennium Park. It's just, the Prudential building, the annex is so tall that it's kind of hard you have to get so high to get above the buildings around there. And maybe that's why it hasn't developed. There was a plans as late as a few years ago, like 2019, before the pandemic. Someone was talking about developing this as housing, but it fell through. Before that, it was a hotel. It was going to be the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. It's a brand. And that fell through too. That was the one I was talking about. But look at these pipes. Look how low that is. You can hit your head on it. See, this is where there's this strange way where we're below. So that's the drop-off zone for the Aon Center. And this is Lake Street. Lake Street's above us. That's where Lake Street ramps up. You see how below here, there's a street below us. Isn't this so weird? Look, there's a car down there coming out of the parking exit. And then see, here's the 3 levels. Clearly you can see the 3 levels, this multiple leveled area of Lakeshore East. The snow stopped across the lake. No rain yet. You got no rain. Be creative in the Michigan side. Yeah, that's strange. Usually you get the lake effect, and we're getting rain. And I'm sure we're going to get snow tonight once the temperature drops, but the temperature might not drop that much tonight. Here you can see down to the lower levels too here. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. We're down here exploring the vast lower levels of Lakeshore East. You see how there's a big bus queuing area here. Those are buses that go express from Prudential that go over to Union and Ogilvie Station, and you see how there's a gated access there. That's a parking lot holding area for the Prudential buildings. There's a street. Sometimes we go down in that level. That's the 3rd lowest level. We're in the middle level, and then there's a level above us. That's why, and this is a parking garage entrance. What I'm standing in here, you can access the lower level parking garages from underneath all these skyscrapers down here. And look how it says, welcome to 1-2 Prudential. $17 if you get in between 4:30 and 8 a.m. $17 all day. I think that's the parking rate here, which is not too bad. I think Millennium Park parking garage is like $12 to $15. I don't know. I don't park. I don't have a car. Let's see what we got here. Hey, City Walking Girl, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, thanks. Nice community we got here, the family. Mary Alice, how you doing? Florida, yeah, see what you're missing here? Stay in Florida. Yeah, we got the crazy weather here. Here we got, yeah, that's that Aon Center parking special. We're in the lower levels here. 2 feet of sunshine, yeah, rub it in. We're supposed to get rain this afternoon. Yeah, some places supposed to freeze. Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be the real interesting. We'll see if I can slip and slide. I know City Walk and Grow, you're dealing with the same thing. How do we deal with this weather? You know, how do you walk in this miserable weather? But I was all looking forward to playing in the snow. We just got miserable cold rain here. But see, there's the Fairmont. There's the lower level. There's actually a lower level drop off for the Fairmont Hotel if you're following along. We're the middle level of Columbus here. The lower levels of Lakeshore east of Michigan. Yeah, Kevin, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, thanks for saying hello to City J. Yeah. Like even this morning, I was like, how do we cover this? So I was dodging in and out of the buildings, walking up alleys. So what we got here? So we got, everybody still streaming okay? 3,800 kilobits per second, good. So you can enter the Millennium Park garages. That ramps down to lower Columbus. You can see if we go that way. Yeah, let's go this way for a second. I rarely come this way. You see how there's no pedestrians hardly at all. There are, if you go to the lower levels, there are a few homeless encampments down here. Here it gets wet, so I think I see a tent across the way there. But I try to be respectful. It's good, good. Thanks for the feedback. Yeah, more adventurous, more adventurous. We can actually head across, if I got enough time, we might circle back and head across the Michigan Avenue too, over by where Billy Goats is, but you can go east of there and we could stay underneath the whole way. This is going to get really loud here, but I'll just take us over to lower Randolph because it goes all the way over towards Lakeshore Drive this way. If you just joined, we're in Chicago since we got a rainy, very wet day here before an anticipated snowstorm. I'm just walking in the lower levels. And I'm glad I brought my umbrella because there's waterfalls everywhere here like this. It's like we're in a cave. Welcome to the cave of Chicago. Here you can clearly see the 3 levels too. Here, this is why I wanted to go on this middle level. See, sidewalk closed. I didn't realize, nothing on the other side told me the sidewalk was closed. See, so Millennium Station's that way. You can clearly see all 3 levels of upper, middle, and lower Randolph Street. Millennium Station, the busway connects over there. You can see out through the opening, that's the BP bridge that crosses Columbus and Millennium Park that connects Maggie Daly Park to Millennium Park. That's looking south. There's 6 lanes of Randolph Street with a center median above us. There's skylights. You see how it ramps up there. You'll pop right up at Michigan Avenue. And we'll wait for the light to change. Yeah, the amber lighting. It's really weird over there. Let's see if we can get to that yellow. There's a yellow pedestrian overpass underneath the street that gets you to that parking garage. And there's like these little steps that go up. We're actually between the Aon and Blue Cross and Blue Shield buildings here on Columbus. See, there's 300 East Randolph. That's the Blue Cross and Blue Shield building. If you go up those steps, you pop up there. Looks like they have this blocked off, so I might not be able to. Yeah, they got construction. They got construction this way. But look at these steps, how these stairs go down. I mean, it's just a maze down here. It took me years to figure out how to navigate this whole area. So yeah, people, you go out there and have a smoke and, look how you can look down that way. So if you just join Welcome to Chicago. We'll head back this way. Yeah, let's head across the river and we'll go up this way. We'll head up towards Wacker Drive. And I might have to walk past a tent here, so I'll go quiet in case there's someone in there. Yeah, it's a hidden city. It's a hidden city. It's vast down here. It's amazing how this goes on and on. You see how the ramps and people from other cities, they have interest in this. And of course, people's GPS doesn't work down here. People, you know, understandably, to get lost because you can't. There, they're towing the cars. Remember, I took you down to the lower third level where they tow the cars. It's downtown. There's, look how they got this stairwell gated off here, I guess, for security. So let's see. Krista, how's it going? Cole, Krista, thanks for tuning in. Anna, yeah, New Orleans. Oh yeah, in New Orleans, under the interstate overpasses. Yeah, there's so many tents. Houston has the same thing. See, there's a few tents up here we'll have to walk by. Here's another place that's future development. There's one of the last planned high rises for Lakeshore East is supposed to go in this spot, and that's why this hole's here. They used some of those picnic tables during COVID so people could sit outside for Mariano's and stuff, or the other restaurants at the lower level there. So that's all Lakeshore East for behind the Blue Cross and Blue Shield building here on Columbus. Look how wide it is. So I'll have to go quiet again up here. There's another homeless encampment. I'm also just, you know, for my own research and edification, seeing, yeah, there's some people out and about up here. So I'll go quiet. They might not like me filming here, so I'll try to navigate this respectfully as possible here. Central Auto Pound. That's what. So some people have to, when they're fortunate tourists, when their cars get towed, they have to figure out where their car got towed to, and like you're going to see that sign down there. Look at, look, they're doing welding work on the underneath of the girders there, right here at where it's South Water Street and Lower Columbus Street here. Look at that. City at work. City at work right there. Sparks are flying. There's a divvy bike. There's a parking garage. See how people come out of the parking garage right here, and that's mostly what this is used for, is access from the parking garages like this. This is the Aqua Hotel parking's below here, and some of the other Sofitel. And look there. Look at that. Look at that. You can see clearly how you, in the center of the street, you can go down to the lower third level. Both sides are the middle level, and then you can ramp up to the upper level. Oh, a piece of the beam just came off there. I better get out of here. Actually, I want to head this way. I want to cross the street here. Here, let me cross the street here real quick before they start honking at me here. Yeah, I want to go this way. Here, we'll head back. We'll see if we can get down to the lowest level. And I don't want to walk down that ramp because there's not a sidewalk. So we'll have to go back to Michigan and go down. There's a stairwell that'll get us to the lowest level, and then we can head across the lower level of Michigan Avenue. Sounds of the city. Yeah, the sounds of stuff falling off the beam there. Adequate. Michael Anderson, how you doing? Yeah, we're in the Twilight Zone. People will be all confused. They'll be like, where you at? This is not Chicago. This morning, people, I was on TikTok this morning, and I was walking up and down those alleys there off of Wabash, and somebody said, oh, this is a fake live. I'm like, yeah, it's fake. It's all recorded. No one believes there. No one believes. Not, you can't believe anything anymore. Did you see that? And this, I'm worried. You know, yeah, I do show my face. You know, I got those 2 TikToks where I show my face. Why am I reluctant to show my face? AI took Taylor Swift's voice, and people were using Taylor Swift's voice for their advertisements. And Taylor Swift wasn't getting paid for people using her voice. They just sampled her voice and used Taylor Swift's voice. And so it's not only going to be politicians, movie stars. It's already a problem with, you know, people making sexualized videos with people's faces without their consent. We're in this stupid world now where anything can be grabbed digitally and mapped onto somebody else's face. They can steal your voice likeness. We're all going to be having to deal with this, where no one's going to believe anything they see on the internet because anything can be faked. We already deal with this. I showed that police incident, and someone in the comments thought it was the explosion in Fort Worth. And people were like, no, this is Chicago. This is not. There was a hotel, a gas explosion in Fort Worth, and people get confused. I talked about before how there was that house that blew up in where did it blow up? It was somewhere in Washington or Baltimore, and or it was New Jersey. It was somewhere in New Jersey, and then people faked it and said it happened in Chicago. They said only in Chicago. And it did. It happened on the East Coast, and they were making money off the video going viral because people thought it happened in Chicago. This is what we're going to have to be dealing with. You see how we exited? See, we came right back where we started here. We're back at Michigan Avenue by the Carbon and Carbide building. The reason I came this way is I want to go down Beaubean Court. It's kind of an interesting side street that's underneath here, so you can see the older buildings back before they raised Michigan Avenue. And yeah, it's scary. It's scary city walking, girl, I know. And but you know, the world's a scary place, so we got to face it every day. We'll keep on trucking. You do such a great job. I saw you were over, I think you were on Milwaukee last night, showing Reckless Records and all the great murals over there in Wicker Park, and it's great. And we'll keep showcasing the city. And you got to fight. We got to show the truth, the real city here. So here we'll head down. This is where I was going to start. I saw the two guys on the bikes down here, and I decided to wait till they cleared out, because probably the last thing they want is a live streamer going down here filming them. It's just spidey sense. My spidey sense kind of told me to wait. And see, that's, yeah, there's some people yelling down here. So we'll go down Beaubean Court. And this is not the reason I came down here, but I just, you know, I want to go down Beaubean Court, but since we're going to pass, there's another tent encampment. This is the lowest level of Water Street. There's actually 3 levels. So we were walking, we were on the middle level there. Look at all this water down here. Here's Beaubean Court. Beaubean, of course. And that's a weird, that'll take it. We used to be able to go all the way to the old Millennium Station. See how it goes down there? And that's a freaky tunnel there, down towards Millennium Station. And I gotta watch this car, turn it around, see what they're doing here. Never turn your back on a car when you're going down a dark underground street here. But see, look, there's delivery trucks. There's a guy delivering there. They got the dumpsters. This is Beaubean Court. Beaubean's, of course, named after, there was a hotel back after Jean-Baptiste Bointou-Sable sold his land to Kinsey. There was a hotel operator back before Chicago was even a town, and he ran one of the first hotels, the Saganage Hotel, and his name was Beaubean, like the French. Look at that. See, that's Upper Michigan. When you walk down Michigan Avenue, you can look down in here, and we're down underneath. This is the plaza. That's the plaza up there that Mies van der Rohe designed, one of the last buildings he designed here for the Illinois Center. And we're underneath, see the loading docks and all that. Union Carbide, the Carbide and Carbon building. Yeah, you saw that. That's good. Yeah, exploring the underworld. That's why this is what we do on cold, rainy days. Look how, I'll show you, there's an underground lake down here. See how you can look? This is behind the 333. That's the 333 North Michigan building. We're on the back side of it here. And there's a few older buildings. These are some of the oldest buildings still left in the loop here that go back to when this was a railroad yard. Look how the water collects down here. The FedEx and the post office have to drive through this puddle to get to this loading dock because it's the low spot, and the drainage sewer grates get clogged with debris. But we'll head up to Wacker Drive here. Oh, see, and I just stepped on some glass. There's a broken bottle right there. You got to wear. The other hazards of live streaming that, Jay, you know about. You got to. We're looking at the camera. People are like, you're not looking at comments, and then we're stepping on broken glass and trash in the street. Chicago streets are clean, but they're not that clean. There's always something laying. You got to watch. You make sure you don't trip over it. I know you're careful. You're more careful than I am. I'm still holding this umbrella. I don't even need to. Hey, thanks, Tara. Yeah, thanks for the thumbs up here. So we made it back to Lower Wacker. This is Lower Wacker Drive. You see, that's the back of those tapestries. And we'll get over here. We'll try to cross to the other side. I think, yeah, they got this side for a long while. This side of Lower Michigan Avenue Bridge has been closed off. I think it has something to do with they were repairing that bridge. Wow, there's another homeless encampment over here. See, this is new to me. There last winter there was 1 or 2 tents here. Now there's like 4 or 5. So I'll go quiet when we cross here. And yeah, this is the real city, as real as it gets. Jay and other people, longtime Chicagoans, you might remember Joseph Kramalis, the walking man. Joseph Kramalis, he was known as a guy that would walk around Chicago, and he originally had dark hair. It turned white as he got older. He had like a Yanni thick mustache, and he had long shoulder-length hair. That he was pretty well groomed, you know, and he would always be walking around. And unfortunately, he lost his life down here. Somebody set him on fire, and eventually he went to the hospital. We thought he was going to recover. And it shows you the dangers homeless people face, because they're just out here with all kinds of people with mental issues and stuff. But here, look, here's the, you know, right at Wacker in Michigan. We just crossed Wacker in Michigan, and I had a TikTok about Anthony Kramalis, but we lost that with our original account. Here's the river walk, so you see where we're at. There's the Chicago River. We're on the lower level of Michigan Avenue, DuSable Michigan Avenue Bridge here, and there's the river walk and the whole skyline there along the river. You heard about that, Joseph Kramalis? Yeah, it's horrible. The poor guy, even in 2016, someone beat him with a bat and tried to push him off a 20-foot bridge, and he survived that. And then he was actually sleeping under the Trump Tower. That's where it happened. And some 27-year-old sociopath caught him on fire, didn't show any remorse. They caught the guy. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what sentence he's serving or not. Why would you do that? He didn't even know him. You know, people just think they can mess with homeless people. It's, you know, and he was kind of homeless by choice. He just decided to. Sometimes he wasn't always living on the streets. Anthony or Joseph Kramalis, you know, I think he had some family in the city. But thanks, Dad. Don't forget Joseph Kramalis. I often tear up when I think about it. But here's where you can catch the Windella boats. We'll go by Billy Goats. We're now on the north side of the river. You see how we walked over the river underneath the streets. We stayed, besides that brief moment when I walked out on Michigan to take the steps back down, it's actually possible to stay underground the whole time, but I didn't want to go that way. And look at the waterfalls. We're right by the Wrigley building. See the Wrigley building, the Trump Tower's down that way. That's where Joseph Kramalis was assaulted. Look, they're towing more cars. More cars are being towed, always being towed. Look at the waterfall here. Oh, the perils of live streaming are legion. See how you got all these stairs you can come out of here? Yep, miserable souls do ugly things. There's trolls in the real world and there's trolls online. There's sociopaths everywhere. And that's the day. That's why, you know, that's why cities are such freaky places, because there's such a concentration of people. You're going to run into a sociopath. And some sociopaths become politicians, you know, and, you know, think of the fascist leaders that rose to power in Europe. Clear sociopaths, or Pol Pot in Asia, you know. But here's the Billy Goat Tavern. You see where we're at here. Cheeseburger, cheeseburger, cheeseburger. We come down here often. And hey, how's it going here? Let's see if anybody's in there having lunch. Yeah, how's it going there? Billy Goats, eat at your own risk. I often open the door and go in there, but since what time we got here? We got 12:34. It smells good. They're piping in the smells here. Yeah, John Belushi. John Belushi had that great skit from Saturday Night Live. It's right here. They talk about it. Real famous Billy Goat. Cheeseburger, cheeseburger, cheeseburger. No Pepsi, Coke, no chips, no fries and chips. Reverse the curse party. See, butt in anytime. Billy Goats, how's it going? He's going in there, yeah. See, you can check it out here. Yeah, Billy Goats. They got, and it's worth it just to check out. They got a full bar. Oh, let me go down here. They got a full bar, and they got so much memorabilia. Yeah. I mean, so I'm originally from southern Indiana. I moved to Chicago 25 years ago, but I grew up in the Midwest, stayed in the Midwest, and I've lived in Chicago over half my life. So here, let's head this way. We'll cross Michigan Avenue here, and see if any traffic's coming here. Yeah, we got it here. So I'll show you. They you know, when they converted the Tribune Tower into ultra expensive luxury condos, they changed this area, and I'll show it to you. They added like a parking entrance and added lighting down here, which is interesting. If you ever watched The Fugitive, there's a scene where Harrison Ford gets in the car with his doctor, the doctor that betrayed him, but he didn't know at that time, and they get out, he gets out of a health club, and he gets in the car, and Harrison Ford, it's down in this level. So there's many scenes from The Fugitive, of course, not just the Hilton Hotel. There's many scenes from that movie. They used the Stroger Hospital too, I think, in the Fugitive movie with Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones and all that. But hey, cool walking tour, yeah. So maybe I can put the umbrella down. My arm's getting tired. So here's, look, they have a, would you use that putting green? There's like a putting green down here, I guess, or maybe it's a bocce ball, a Bulls like bowling green. I guess you could play bocce ball there, but I've never seen anybody use it. Today would be a good day to use it because it keeps you out of the rain. But see, here's the parking garage entrance to the Tribune Tower residences. They added this, and the Tribune Tower is right above us. The 401 Michigan Plaza, the old Equitable building, is right there. You see how they added that lighting. That's kind of neat. Hey, good. Thanks for tuning in. Chicago's where our heart is. Yeah, sweet home Chicago. I know, warts and all. This, you know, this city's not for everybody. You know, it's positive, negatives, everything. I'm not saying this city's better than any other city. It's not just like all cities, but it's interesting. It's interesting. Great neighborhoods, great people. And yes, you know, there are negatives to Chicago, as all cities. Expensive, crime, traffic problems, but all cities. There goes a rat. Where's Kenny at? Where's Kenny at? There goes a rat. You see, hey, there goes. I didn't mean to freak you out. I don't often see, people are always like, where's the rats in Chicago? There's rats, but not as many as New York. And you see how see, this is a future development site too. There's plans for a super tall Tribune Tower behind the Tribune, but they haven't broken ground. They did some soil testing, but I see no evidence of construction, and I doubt this project's going to go forward. You see where we're at here. I don't want to get rain on the lens here, but hey, hello, LS Gender. Thanks for tuning in. Shannon, thanks for tuning in. Hello. Yeah, sorry, I've been missing comments here. We're walking down here on the lower streets. I think I can head around here. I think you could do like a loop. What time we got here? 12:38 in the PM here in Chicago. I know it's kind of strange. We're waiting for a snowstorm to hit, and it hasn't hit, and it's just been rain. So imagine how much snow we would have if it was only a few degrees colder. We would already have a half a foot of snow at least, if not more, as much as precipitation as we're getting. And it's all rain, so it'll severely curtail our snow totals if once the snow actually begins. But it'll drop down, it'll get colder later this week, and then the snow will keep adding to the existing snow if we get more and more, because it looks like we're heading into a more active winter pattern finally. And it's January, so we're due. So City Plaza Drive, 200 East. So the NBC Tower is right above us, and we'll walk right by the there's an open lot to the Chicago River over here. Everywhere you go, there's a divvy bike right there. I had to see it too. Yeah, they will leave no space untouched. Everything that can be monetized will be monetized, including us. We're all bought and sold on the marketplace of corporations and advertisements. Eyes on the screen. They're milking us like cows, all these social media companies, and I'm part of the milking here. Here's so this is this. See the Sheraton Hotel's right there, and we'll get a nice view to the Lakeshore East skyline. Look, there's the St. Regis Genie Gang Design Tower. There's to the left, and then kind of fading up into the clouds as both of those buildings are is the Aqua building. There's the Swiss Hotel and some of the housing and offices there. All over to the Prudential. That's the whole Lakeshore East skyline. We're north of the river here. See the Glacier Center's there for University of Chicago. He's revving up. He's trying to mess with my mind here. But there's the Sheraton Hotel. They got a nice lobby in the Sheraton Hotel. It's kind of modernist. And so we were on Columbus. We were down. You see there, you can clearly see the multiple levels of Lacker Drive. We were over on that side in the lower levels. Now we're on the north side of the river, and that's why I say these lower level streets hug the river east of Michigan Avenue, north and south of the river, because this is a low area near the lake and the river where they raised the streets. That's what I call it. They actually built causeways, multiple levels. It was all planned this way so they could develop multiple levels, and it was an interesting urban design way to get multiple layered streets so you can put the parking garage access, the loading docks below, and keep the streets above clear for pedestrians and your main entrances to your nice corporate office towers, which now became like housing. Yeah, the accidents in the hotels. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, your friend was in an accident in Texas. No, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that, Lois Ditter. I did not know that. So hope the one hotel was accident. Yeah, sorry to hear that. Well, hope. Yeah, I'm very sorry to hear that. Hey Sandra, how's it going? Thanks for the emoji there. So this is where it ends, and we're behind, like Darren Monroe is over this area. This is all Streeterville. You know, we talked about the Jesse Smollett incident, which I won't talk much about, but it happened like around in here. So there's security cameras all around here, as you would imagine. Everywhere you go, there's a security camera. Even though, you know, Prada was the smash and grab incident, there's camera footage of all that. People shot it from their windows above, and I'm sure there's Prada security cam features that we're not seeing that was turned into the police. So we're always under constant surveillance wherever you're at. Here's the police coming by right now. Speaking of which, yeah. But look, look at all this parking underneath here. You know. It's raining like crazy. Raining like crazy. This is underneath. This is the bridge of Columbus. That's the abutment there. And this is the Columbus when it turns into Fairbanks, when it heads straight north through Streeterville. Hey. So these lower levels have been being developed. I saw that question, when did they build these lower levels? you can start with the 1909 plan to Chicago. That's when they planned to do Wacker Drive. There was a street, Water Street, that actually was adjacent to the river, and there were buildings that backed up to the river. They tore down that. You could see old historic photos of it from the late 1800s. There were buildings that actually went right down where the Riverwalk is. There were buildings there that went straight down. They had like loading boat wharves on the river there, and they were old and dilapidated and fallen down. And so they tore those buildings down. They widened Water Street to make Wacker Drive. That started as there was the 1909 plan of Chicago, and then so mainly they started these in the 1920s. That was all rail yards. You see where all those skyscrapers are? That was a giant rail yard. And the 333 North Michigan building, which you can barely see it behind that flag there, right there, the 333 North Michigan, that was the last skyscraper. All this was rail yards. And then they built the Prudential Tower, the old one they built in the 50s. And eventually in the 70s and then the 2000s, they infilled all this. But as early as the 1920s, they started to develop these. Now, these probably go to like the 50s and 60s, 1950s and 60s when they built some of this stuff. And then some of the streets in Lakeshore East, they were still developing some of those multiple layered streets as late as the 2000s. So it was over almost a 100-year period that they developed these piecemeal. They kept adding to it. It wasn't all at once. But it all goes back to the 1909 plan of Chicago. I wonder if that police officer's like cruising me. He keeps driving back and forth, just doing their beat. That's nice. I feel safer that they're down here. I bear no ill will personally, but I understand not everybody's comfortable with the police driving around all the time. But there's that divvy bike again. But yeah, we'll head back towards Michigan Avenue. What time we got here? 12:46. I better start heading back to work. I know this gets redundant where I'm just like, it looks like I'm walking down the same underground street over and over again. It all starts looking the same. But here we're at St. Clair. St. Clair. See, this is the lower level of St. Some people are walking their dogs down here. It's great. St. Clair goes up to Superior. There you go. Let's see what else. Yeah, Masha, how you doing? Yeah, things develop all the time. That's what we talk about, how neighborhoods change over time, including downtown, the Loop, Streeterville, Lakeshore East. You know, the whole South Loop used to be giant rail yards too, and there were train stations. That's why the 78, you know, you hear City Walking Girl Jay and I talk about the 78. There are 77 neighborhoods of Chicago, and there's soon to be 78. That's a marketing thing. They're used the whole new neighborhood they're going to build between Chinatown and the South Loop of Chicago along the South Branch Chicago River. The reason that's all open, that used to be a giant rail yard. That's a giant brownfield redevelopment site. And they've been mitigating it so that people can live on top of it if they raise it up like this. And you know, it's the location, just like they're doing with loading docks. Catalytic gasoline smell, and the mountains. And we were in LA when I was a little kid. My parents took me out there. We were in Pasadena, and for a week we couldn't even see the mountains right behind our hotel. And then one day the wind changed and the air cleared, and there was these giant mountains behind us, and we couldn't see it because of the smog. That's how bad the smog used to be in LA, and it's much better now because of fuel emission standards. Yeah. So here we'll cross Michigan and we'll head back to work here. Here I'll cross right here. Here comes the streets and sand here. But here, yeah, this is underneath Michigan Avenue. North Michigan Avenue is that way. You see how you can, that's Billy Goats. And we'll head right back across the river here. So hey, at least I was able to maintain my connection the whole time here. Yeah, I was raised for drainage. You're right. That you know, there's I know people get confused, you know, especially that video when I walk underneath the steps there, the one that went viral. When I say Chicago was raised, I'm really talking about the Loop. The Loop, it was too low. They couldn't get the drainage for the sewer systems to work. So you could see it in Westtown and some of the South, like Pilsen, some of the South Side and West Side. You can see where they raised the streets, and and that's why you enter on the second level, and the ground floor became the basement garden apartment. Same with the downtown, the Loop. They raised a lot of the original buildings, Great Chicago Fire, but they raised them before that by jacking them up. They jacked them up because they raised the streets for the sewer system. That was independently of these streets. These streets are different. They did these later, but it's really hard to explain. But yeah, Chicago was built on a swamp, or like a boggy, marshy area, and the drainage was always horrible here, and it still is. That's why they had to do the deep tunnel system. It's the Chicago Water Reclamation District. Lisa, how you doing? Yeah, the umbrella works. I'll be like Mr. Magoo here. I'll be like, yeah, See, I don't even have to say anything. I'd be like, yeah. Yeah, there's the river walk. Chicago River, it flows that way. It used to flow this way. Hey, the Marina Towers are looking nice. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Our nice tour of the underground. Yeah, repetition, repetition, repetition. And eventually I'll get it right. If you don't succeed first try, try again. Have you ever seen The Untouchables? There's a famous scene where Sean Connery's character, he plays the Chicago beat cop, and he meets Elliot Ness, which is Kevin Costner's character, and they meet right down here. He's walking, and that's where he first meets Kevin Costner's character there in the Untouchable movie about Al Capone and Prohibition, and Elliot Ness there in Chicago. Classic Chicago film. So you see where we're at. So I'll open the umbrella here, and we'll brave the elements and go above. We'll finally exit the lower levels here. There's some people walking. The security's walking on the river walk. There's some people coming down here. But January rain. You know, I figured this would happen. I know I was hoping for a big snowstorm. We'll get it probably tonight. We'll probably finally get snow, but the ground's not frozen, so you know, a lot of it'll melt. It won't really amount to much, I don't think, at least until after tomorrow. And then we might get, I think Friday we might get finally some real amount of snow, but I haven't been keeping track of the forecast here. Oh, I'm out of breath. Yeah, you see the Barbie tent? Psychedelic Barbie tent. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Tara. May, how's it going? Yeah, I know it's so sad. I'm not trying to make fun or glamorize it. I went quiet and was respectful. I'm just documenting. There were tents there last winter. They lasted through, there was only like one or two, and then they eventually removed. They do clean the streets. They just did a street cleaning before the holidays where people with the tents had to remove their tents and they put them back. And that's why those tents are new to me. They weren't there before the holidays. And so imagine, you know, the people live through a Chicago winter outside. I mean, you know, it's why so many, we saw all the homeless people in San Antonio, Houston, Austin. You talk about New Orleans under the bridges. I only see that getting worse because our economic disparity, the disparity of wealth is only growing in this country. The rich are getting richer. The stock market goes up, but it does nothing to help that situation. And I know some people are on mental illness, drugs, usual suspects, but some people choose to be homeless, but some people do not choose to be homeless and are forced to live in that situation. And I'm empathetic, but I don't know what the solution is either. Just like the migrant crisis, I don't know. It's going to continue and persist. And Europe has a problem with it. We have a problem with it. People from poorer countries always want to move to richer countries. It's always been the case. That's why many of our ancestors came to this country or were forced to come to this country. Not everybody came to this country voluntarily. We all acknowledge that, including Native Americans, African Americans, people came to this country in many different ways. But we all share this country and we're all Americans. And I'll get off my soapbox where somebody accused me of being a socialist as I go back to my corporate day job. Good afternoon. Dro on the go. There you go. NWI driver. Yeah, very lucky guy. Drives us. Hope for 5 to 6 inches. Yeah, I hope we get some snow too. Yeah, we can talk for hours. You're right. Yeah, don't forget the Native Americans, the indigenous people. And they do still exist. Not just in Oklahoma. and even the Melungeons. I saw a nice TikTok. It was about African Americans in Appalachia, and you know it's good because people need to remember there are African Americans that live in Appalachia. But I'm like, don't forget about the Melungeons. They were the original Appalachian people besides the Native Americans, and they go back to the 1500s, and no one knows for sure how they got here. But they all consider themselves Native American, but their DNA says they're more African American and Middle Eastern. So we think they were escaped enslaved people from the Spanish Empire that they marooned here because the Spanish tried to create colonies, and then they left them here, or they didn't want to go back to Spain, which I wouldn't want to blame them. And then they couldn't figure out how to get back to North Africa. And so they intermingled with the Native Americans and became a mestizo population in America, not just Mexico. So look up Melungeons. It's fascinating, a fascinating history that's long overlooked, and I love talking about because I love talking about history. And I'm not just making it up. But hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. Welcome. Thanks for the nice tour here of the underground of Chicago. We'll post this. And we'll be back on TikTok tonight. The wind's going to pick up tonight, so I don't know how my walk home's going to be. I don't know, Jay, I don't know how you're going to deal with it either, with this nasty weather. But we'll do the best we can. And we'll keep on trucking. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And we'll say goodbye from Chicago. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, Itasca Historical Train Depot. Thanks, Chris. You always get some good... Thanks, I'll look into that. Thanks. Yeah, I can go silent again. All right, we'll talk to you later. Have a great day, everybody. I'm going to end this thing. May. Oh, thanks for volunteering at the soup kitchen. Thanks, May. Thanks for the... May, you're so sweet. Thanks so much. Thanks, Peace Elisa, be creative. And thanks, City Walking Girl, for being on the way I roll. Chris, everybody else, anybody else I miss, Sharon. Talk to you later from Chicago. Have a great day, everybody. Yeah. All right, talk to you.